Let's start off with the Chiefs. Everyone's a favorite topic, unless you're, not a football fan. Then it's, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. This has been a juggernaut. Obviously, you get these sort of periods in NFL history where people start talking dynasty. I don't want to jinx it here, but you guys have been on a great run. That's going to continue?
It's been a dynasty. It's been remarkable. To have the chance to make NFL history and win 3 Super Bowls in a row is an amazing accomplishment. And we have such great leadership. My brother Clark has done a great job, and Mark Donovan, president, Andy Reid, head coach, Brett Veach, general manager. It's a dream team.
Well, despite your ownership of the Kansas City Chiefs, your real day job is probably more aligned with the FC Dallas MLS soccer team, which is also coming off a pretty phenomenal season. I heard you sold out every game for the first time in the team's history?
Yeah, we sold out all 17 home games, which was an amazing testament to where the business has gone. And our father had always said that he had put us in the right spot in the city, and we're in Frisco, Texas, which really is Sports City, USA. The business dynamic that exists there is amazing, and we're getting ready to do a $182 million facelift to our stadium.
Yeah, that was announced in September, and it'll be a public-private partnership as well. Taxpayers, we know, have become a lot more discerning about which projects they'd be willing to publicly funded. So I'm curious, from where you sit, what is the single most important argument that a team can make to its community about the benefits, the financial benefits, the community benefits for financially supporting something like this?
Yeah, we bring almost 2 million visitors a year to Toyota Stadium and Soccer Center. So we support a number of the local businesses around. And the way the bond mechanism works, the city participates, but the school district also benefits. So they will get a massive return on their investment in the stadium. The school district plays games there. We host a number of college football games, including a bowl game coming up, and then the FCS National Championship game. So we bring all these great events, and by renovating the stadium and making it state-of-the-art, we can continue to chase concerts, continue to try to add football games like Scooters that we have, the bowl game, and bring other premium events to the community. And the individual economics of it are amazing. We did a study, and it showed the economic impact at one point $140 million a year on the community.
That's pretty remarkable. You mentioned that this is a stadium that will host college football games and other events as well. This is actually a soccer-specific stadium, the third soccer-specific stadium in the U.S. Can you explain to me what advantages or drawbacks that brings in terms of when you're trying to convert it to a stadium to host other kinds of events?
My father, Lamar, was a dreamer. He believed so much in soccer, but he knew the only way it was going to succeed was to have soccer-specific stadiums. And by doing that and taking the first plunge in Columbus and building our first stadium there, and then LA was the second, and Frisco, our Toyota Stadium, was the third, it kicked off this gigantic movement. And so we're building these stadiums. They continue to get nicer and more amenities. When we're done with the renovation, we're going to have 57 suites, 6,000 club seats, largest video boards in the league, and they're the right size to host a lot of other events, concerts. Look, the premium revenue is what really drives a lot of sports teams: football, soccer, basketball, and the concert business. And we're really, taking a major leap into that and being able to host these great events. And then obviously World Cup 2026 is coming up too, and we hope to be a home base camp for a visiting national team.
I am curious, though, when we talk about using it for these other purposes, particularly for concerts and other venues, does being in an area like Frisco, does that work against you? I'm talking like with regards to concerts rather than the sports events.
Yeah, look, we live in a competitive city. I mean, the Metroplex is gigantic. So many great venues. Obviously, you have AT&T Stadium, there American Airlines Center. So we're always competing for concerts, different events. But by modernizing our stadium and getting it back to that state of the art, it allows us to compete. We're not going to get them all, but if we can get a share of them, then we're going to have a great return on it. It's going to continue to help us grow our business there. And obviously, it's an incredible experience for our fans.
Of course, the World Cup is maybe a year and a half away or so, give or take, here. And obviously, Dallas and your stadium is going to be a big component of that.
Yeah, it's been 7 years of my life working on World Cup. It's really hard to believe, starting back in 2017. And I am so excited for the World Cup to come in 2026. Obviously, 1994 was amazing. Dallas had a number of games. I had the International Broadcast Center. I didn't appreciate it at that time, but my father was so proud of the International Broadcast Center being in Dallas and what that meant for our city. And hopefully we have a chance to get it for World Cup 2026. But having 9 games, a number of them, they'll be at AT&T Stadium, and we have a World Cup semifinal, the number of elimination games that we have, there will be more drama that takes place in Dallas for the World Cup than any other city.
You know, they hosted an America Copa game in Miami, and it didn't go so well with the crowds, and the game was delayed. What are the lessons learned from an incident like that, that the stadiums that will be hosting World Cup games should take away?
Yeah, the great news is MLS will be very involved in this, and obviously it was an unfortunate incident around such a special game that took place. But yeah, fan safety is a big one, right? Our first thoughts have to be with taking care of the fans, taking care of the people that work there, the players. And so there were some lessons taken. I think, you know, you got to be incredibly thoughtful in ticket distribution, security barriers. FIFA thinks about things, you know, very differently. They're generally gigantic perimeters around these stadiums. It's not like your typical NFL game. And so I think there'll be a very thoughtful security process. Transit is obviously a big one, and each market is unique. In Texas, we live in a driving and tailgating culture, which was really exciting to talk to FIFA about that opportunity that exists with tailgating and everything that goes on around the stadium and all the additional programming that we can do. So there were lessons learned. It was unfortunate, but I think we'll all be better for it going forward in 2026.
Now, speaking of international soccer, the MLS is considering shifting to a European soccer calendar. I believe this is going to be a big point of discussion at the MLS owners meeting. How are you thinking about this?
Yeah, look, in my opinion, I think it potentially is a great thing for the league. There's a reason why Europe is in the calendar that it is. A lot has to do with weather and climate, right? And we have such a diverse climate here. But I think for us, a big part of the soccer business is the player transfer business, where you're buying and selling players. And obviously the top markets are in Europe if you're going to transfer a player there. So I think we'll be able to participate in much higher transfer revenues if this happens, if the membership approves it. And that's money that can be completely reinvested back in the MLS product, reinvested in players, facilities, academies, and I think it will really help grow the league. And also, you know, you're not necessarily competing against college football and the NFL late in the year. And I know you'll be competing against, you know, hockey and baseball and basketball, but I think it will be, you know, great to, you know, have a more traditional calendar, and, you know, we'll see how the membership feels about it.
Do you think we're going to see more of those sort of big international football/soccer stars actually come to the MLS, not when they're basically a step away from retirement, but maybe when they're still in their prime?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our payrolls, they continue to grow at such a high rate. And we have the mechanism, the DP mechanism, to bring 3 per team. And the league continues to add mechanisms and work with the union on this. Obviously, Messi was gigantic news. It was transformative. But the number of top players that have an interest to come to the United States and ply their trade at some point in their career is great. But you hit on it. The key is not at the end of the career. We want them in their prime. This is a gigantic, you know, sports consuming audience in this country, and to have top athletes at the top of their game will do wonders for Major League Soccer.
Who's the player that you want to see come over to MLS? Come on.
I mean, Kylian Mbappe might be at the very top of my list. What a tremendous player! But there are so many. I mean, Neymar, obviously, Ronaldo. You have names like that. You know, I want just the players that are going to, you know, put forth, you know, the best effort, be invested in the league. That's been one of the most refreshing things about having Lionel Messi, is his desire to grow Major League Soccer, and it's really a partnership there. So I think there are so many top talents that will grow MLS.